trademark rights. That's one. Yep. Elaine?
Shoes.
Yeah, yep. Anybody else? Anything in a shot that you might think might be a problem from a trademark standpoint?
Logos.
Logos? Anything that has value to somebody else? Yeah.
Can I get a water? Can I get a glass of water? Oh, right there.
Anything that has value to somebody else. So one of the things that I deal with when I talk to people about copyrights and trademarks, and this is a very, very top level of it, is somebody wants to do something and they want to kind of name it like something else, like instead of McDonald's, it's Smith Brothers or whatever it is. The problem is if you find value in using something else, even if you try to modify it, the person that owns that has value is going to have a problem with what you're doing. And probably will get a cease and desist letter, or at the very least, you're not going to be able to get distribution because everybody requires errors and omissions insurance today, just about for any distributor. And what errors and omissions insurance is basically, has everything been cleared? Has everything got permissions? Has everything got a clearance of some sort? So for those of you in the production realm already that have actually produced some things, it's commonly referred to as the Bible, but from the very beginning of the first shot all the way to the end credits, there needs to be a documentation of everything that is seen, heard, could be inferred from a trademark, and then you have to document every one of those things with permission from somewhere. If you're at a location, you need a location release in addition to liability, but also if it's a famous location, you want to have permission to use that as a shot outside. If you're doing a film and I have a can of Coke next to me, in general, Coke isn't going to bother you, okay? It's not worth it for them to, and it's okay. Where Coke would have a problem is if I was drinking this right now and I had a can of Coke next to me and I pulled out a gun and shot her. They may not like the association, Serena, yeah, sorry, but they won't like the association of their product and something bad happening, okay? So you have to be really, really, really careful. So throw out some ideas. When do you copyright something?
Like, we just did a feature film last year, and we did it at my church. And in the middle of the taping, we ended up using my church's name in the movie. They changed it from the original name of the movie. And also, if I'm not mistaken, the logo is in some of the shots. So what do I need to do to get?
You should get permission from the church. Just a simple 2-sentence release, 1-paragraph release, kind of stuff you'd find online. I mean, as a lawyer, I do those, but they're not difficult. Basically, what you're looking for is permission. I allow you to use this in whatever it is you're doing with it. And without that, and that's the same going back to talent. I mean, when you think about it, if you're visible on a shoot, you're signing a talent agreement, you're signing a release. Why are you signing a release? Well, in Florida, you have two things: the right of publicity, which is modeled after the California standards, but not every state does, but also copyright infringement. Your face, your persona, everything about you is yours, and somebody can't just take it over. We have an example, by the way, of one that just happened. Delaney, you want to show us? Yeah, go ahead. This is a great example of
I won't, but you need to find the picture. So we got an email 2 days before Christmas that someone wanted us to go on audition for an independent film. And we're like, okay, well, we're in the middle of Christmas right now, it's crazy, we have grandparents over, so we need to wait until we respond to this. So a couple of days passed, and my mom wakes up and she looks at her Facebook, and she sees a layout for a role with my face
All right, so which one of you did it? Come on, you can tell us, we'll be kind.
I did it.
You did it.
Yes.
And, you know, the question is that okay? And it obviously is not. The right of publicity, the copyright, any rights that are associated with somebody's persona that is not a public figure can't be used without that person's permission. So you end up in the same exact, yes, thank you. This is our event release. In case we film you, tough luck. You agree that if you're in this meeting, that we can use your photo for anything?
So as long as you have that there, does that, because I'm still working on a TV show where there might be guests that might get filmed. Now, if you haven't posted,
That's
that's okay?
Yeah.
Okay, they don't have to say anything.
No, as long as it's incidental. There hasn't been a court case or court cases that have really gotten into the nitty-gritty of having somebody sign their own individual release versus just putting up a sign. And when you put up a sign, you're saying you're entering here, like this one, you consent. But in general, we all get away with it that way. As you heard, I worked at Louisiana Universal both in the 80s and 90s. And we were very careful to make sure that sign, and a lot of times the production people, you know, just didn't care, but we always were trying to make sure that somewhere when somebody is walking into an area, there's at least one sign and maybe more if we could get the room to do more. So that's enough for capturing somebody, like if you're taping this now, filming this now, videoing this now, taping.
I know.
Videoing this now. If he did a pan around the room, this is going to cover you. Okay? This would not be enough to cover what the person did to Delaney using a picture of IMDb.
And then I have one more question.
Yeah, no, this is open. We're doing this all open. It's fine.
So,
Keep going.
she has a show, and it's the Mac Show, and we wrote a skit, and we used McDonald's in one of the comedy skits. Well, it was like, it was a bribery. I just was curious, like, if they could say anything or how this would play a part. But so it was a thing where a guy was supposedly arrested for something, and he requested McDonald's, and we got McDonald's. Would that be a thing where I would have to ask McDonald's because it's a bag with McDonald's and a Coke next to it in a comedy skit, you know, like.
If it's in a comedy skit, the best example, because this comes up all the time, how does SNL get away with this stuff?
Right.
You have a team of lawyers that all disagree with each other, and then somebody above them finally makes a decision that has the ability to say yes or no, and if they say yes, take the heat if they end up with the problem. You don't have a clear-cut line as to whether McDonald's, you need permission from McDonald's or not. If it's incidental, if it's comedy, if it's, it starts to trend into what's called parody, and parody is okay to do. Weird Al Yankovic is the best example of parody, even though we had a lot of lawsuits in the beginning. If you're taking somebody's property and transforming it or making some statement about it, without having seen what you created, it sounds like a lot of fun. Here I am, I want my last meal at McDonald's. You know what? My first job was my first job was at McDonald's. I still love eating a McDonald's hamburger. I might get something, but you know what? A McDonald's hamburger does it for me. You know, I'll stop in just to get a burger just because I miss that taste. But you're making more of a parody of it or a comedy when somebody says, you know, you could have filet, you could have this, you could have a Big Lobster, but I want McDonald's. I think it's cute, actually.
Can you blur it out?
Oh yeah, so would we need to blur out the bag or like?
It depends. Again, the problem from a lawyer standpoint is if you don't get permission, somebody may have a problem. It doesn't mean that you did anything wrong, but somebody may have a problem. So let's say what you created is up for distribution with somebody that's trying to put it on Netflix or selling it overseas.
I have a Roku channel and I'm watching it there, but this show is gonna be large, so eventually someone may take it somewhere else. But
I wouldn't worry, here's the thing, the off the
might
cuff,
need to talk.
yeah, no, it's okay. This is the example of why I like doing this, because I've got a long, list of things that I talk about. I've had handouts, I've done this, I teach over at UCF. And what invariably happens is I start on the very first sentence of whatever it is I hand out, and then we end up in the meeting with whatever's going on.
right.
So this is absolutely fine, because it's a great example for everybody else. What do you do? In general, I try to stay away from using a shot that had a big, McDonald's bag on it. But other than that, I think it'd be fine. What I can't do is guarantee that you would be fine. And I can't guarantee that if you had to go to an insurance company for distribution, if you went to a distributor and the distribution company wanted insurance, insurance, that they clear that. I've finessed it a lot of different ways. I've said, we as a lawyer, good faith belief, I've used all sorts of language and opinion letters to try to help people that have already done something that would be difficult to remove, like that. Yep.
So my question is, say you want to use this in your film, okay? It doesn't belong to you, and so they say you can't use it.
Right.
Are you then allowed to replicate it sometime, maybe take a picture of it, and remove some of the fruit that's there? So it looks different.
If
do you
it
have to
looks-
get a patent to do that?
No, patent has nothing to do with any of that. If you try to manipulate that image enough, then you will be okay. But you have to really be good at doing that, and why would you bother, is the other thing. I mean, that's just a picture of some fruit.
Yeah, but not many people might see it as just a picture with fruit.
Well, no, I mean, it's not just a picture, I shouldn't say it that way. It has intrinsic value, it's not just food.
Yeah.
It does something for the room, it adds value to the room, etc. That's why just using it in something else is a problem without permission to do
Yeah,
so.
you're just giving them-
I've got one, give you an example of, go ahead.
Well, I want to go back to her
Yeah.
McDonald's issue. When she asked if she could blur it out, would that solve her problem
Yeah.
to just blur it out?
But you know what, and again, if it's a comedy piece, blurring it out may add to the comedy.
Yeah.
Okay, somebody says, I want to order McDonald's, and then you have the blurred out, or you have some character in the background that looks like Ronald McDonald, but you can't quite tell. That just adds to the comic value of what you're creating.
Yeah, Larry, actually like to revisit her situation. I mean, ignoring just how scummy it is.
Yeah, that's.
Right.
That's a whole nother story.
Yeah, it's below the basement scummy. But if I were that scummy, wouldn't I have a valid argument of saying she's already put herself out with that particular image, wanting a public image? And since I said I want someone like this, I am no way suggesting she's endorsing my product.
Right.